everyone, it's Tammy, and in today's tutorial I'm going to teach you guys how to make this cute little flower pot card. And I think it's just adorable, and it's actually really easy to make. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need a punch. I'm going to use this punch, which makes these flower shapes on this card, and then I'm also going to use the bow card, or the bow punch, which looks like this, and a scallop punch. On this card I used the daisy punch, which I think is really cute too, but I kind of think, I don't know, I think I might like the other one better. I'm not really sure, but I think they're both really cute. So let me go ahead and teach you how to do this. We're going to punch out, I think I'm going to punch out 4 of these flowers. So I already have one, and I've already punched it out in the green, so I have enough of the green leaves, and I need 3 more of the pink flower. So I'm just going to punch out 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. So that's a total of 4. And then I have 4 backgrounds. So I think that's all I need of those. Now I'm going to just, trim this off just because I can keep this part, but I want to throw this part in the trash. Now to put the leaves or the flowers together, it's really easy. I probably don't even need to teach you this, but so these are exactly the same. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the flower, and then because these are the same, I could line them up and they could be perfectly the same, but I don't want to line them up. So I'm just going to off-center the pink on the green and make them like that. So let me go ahead and make all 4 of these. One, 2, 3, and 4. You can even see on this one how I kind of messed up. I didn't get the whole leaf. I kind of punched it over another one, but it is hidden behind the flower. It doesn't even matter. You might be able to see a little bit of it, but nobody is going to know. So use your mistakes. It's okay. Mistakes are not really even mistakes. And you could do this in multiple colors. You can obviously use different flower punches, whatever you like. And then I want to put a center in here. You could even punch out a little circle for the center if you wanted to. I happen to have these that I got from Tuesday Morning for 49 cents. So I am going to use these just because I have them, and I thought it was fun to use one of each color. So that's what I'm going to do. There's 4 different colors, so I'll just use 4 different colors on each one of those. Those are very similar, but they're different. This one's blue and this one's green. I don't know if you can see that on there. So I'm going to put those to the side for a minute. And then I need a piece of paper that is 3.5 by 9. And this is you're making the flower pot. So I'm using this peach colored, which kind of looks like a terracotta clay pot to me. So I'm going to cut this at 3.5. And then I'm going to cut it at 2, which would make it 3.5 by 9, because it's 3.5 by 11 right now. So this is the part that I want. I'm going to score this at 2 inches, and then again at 5.5 inches. I'm going to take my scallop punch, and I'm going to punch the short end with the scallop punch. This is totally optional, just gives it a cute decorative finish. You could use something other than the scallop if you wanted to. My scallop needs to be sharpened. And then we're going to fold it in half at the 5.5 inch mark. and then we're going to need to cut it. So to do this, you're going to line up your score mark, your 2.5 inch score mark on the cutting blade. And then you're going to put your bottom of the card on the 1/2 inch mark. So hopefully you guys can see this. I'm putting this on the 1/2 inch mark, and then I'm going to line this scored line up exactly with where the blade goes. And I want to keep it folded. You're going to cut through 2 layers. So you need to push kind of hard. And there we go. And then you turn it over and you leave the scallop part up. See how I have that up? That's important because you don't want to cut that part. So I'm lining up the score mark, and then I'm lining up this with the 1/2 inch mark. Here's my 1/2 inch mark. I'm just lining this up with that. And you can do this anywhere on the board that you want. You just want to line this up with the 1/2 inch mark and line the scored line up with the actual cutting line. And push hard on your cutter because it is a double piece of paper. And there is your pot. To finish it off, you fold this down. My scallop punch doesn't punch very well. So this is pretty much the pot. There's still a little bit more to do to finish it up, but this is what it's going to look like. And then I don't need this pink anymore, but I do need, I'm going to use this vanilla for, I'm going to go ahead and make the same bow. Goodness. And I'm going to do the same little line here. I think that's cute. And then I'm also going to use it for the inside of the card to write my note on. So for the inside of the card, I need it to be 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I want to make sure this is, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 2 1/4. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 4 1/4. And then I also want a piece of the same color at 3 1/2 by 1/2. So I'm just going to cut it at a 1/2 inch first. And actually, I think I like to cut it this way a little better. Gives you more room to push it up against this line. So there's the 1/2 inch, and then I want it to be 3 1/2 inches. So I will measure that out and cut that off. Oops, I didn't cut that very straight. Let's try that again. Come out, you silly paper. Hug. There we go. Throw that booger away. And then you can use this to cut out your bow. And then I also need another piece of the same color that I used for the pot. And I want this to be 4 1/2 by 2 1/2. So I want to see if this is 4 1/2, and it is. So I'm just going to cut it at 2 1/2. And then I'll turn it and cut it at 4 1/2. Now we can go ahead and get started. This is what I'm going to use to punch out the bow. And you have to punch the bow twice to get all the pieces that you need. Okay, so then you have 2 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. And just take a pencil or a pen, and the one that has the oval shape in it is going to be the actual bow part. So you want to kind of bend it, let the fibers know that you are going to be folding in. And I like to use glue dots with this. Other people say that they like snail. Use whatever you like to use. If you haven't tried this before, you might try the glue dots, because I think that they seem to hold the best and work the best, at least in my opinion. So what you do is you take your little bow part and you put the very end on your glue dot, and then you match it up to the other point. And there's one side of your bow. So we'll do that again. You take this, you match it up, or you put a glue dot on it, and then you fold it over or bend it over so that it reaches that. Now these, you can flatten them if you want to. I like to leave them kind of 3D, even though if you mail them they will get squished, but it's fun. And then I put a glue dot on this, and then I match these two up just like that. So now it looks like a little bow tie. And we're not quite finished yet. You want to take one of these little guys, and you really only need one of these little guys, so it gives you two, but you really only need one. And you put a glue dot on each end of this. Same side of the paper, but you want one on each end. So I have two glue dots on this one little piece of paper. And then you take it and you put one glue dot down on the back, and then you fold this over the bow and then back onto itself in the back. And that gives you the nice little center part of the bow. That's what the back looks like. See where it connects. And then I will attach this to the card with a glue dot. Now these are made to go underneath. If you so wish to do that, you could make them, you know, look like this, or you could make it look like this. Whatever you want to do. I'm just not even going to use them because I think it's cute just like that. So to me, at least for this particular card, all three of those pieces are just going in the trash. So now let's go ahead and get our card going. I'm going to attach this vanilla piece to this peach piece, and that will be the sentiment part of the card, or the note part of the card. Did I cut this peach one right? Four and a half by 2.5. Let me just double check because it looks kind of wide. Ooh, I did it 2 3/4. Okay, I'm glad I checked. 4.5 by 2.5. That fits better. And it's good that I caught it because it fits perfectly in the card, and I will show you what I'm talking about. So you want the scallop to stay down, obviously, and so you need to put, you can put whatever you want, but you need to adhere this down. If you use dimensionals, it gives it a little bit of a lift. It's kind of cute. And I need some more out. So I'm going to use just 2 dimensionals on this, and I'm going to put them on my card, like the base part, and I want them to be kind of lower. I don't want them way up here. I want them to be a little bit lower, but I'm putting them on the base because if I put them on the card and then I shut the card, you can see that it sticks out further than the base does, and you could have missed it. So I'm just putting them on here, and just a couple is all you need. And that holds that down just like that. And then if you take your little strip that you cut, you can put that right along the edge up above the scallop. And then I used a glue dot to attach my bow. So just make sure that where you've connected it is in the back. And then I want this to be on the card enough so that if I mail it, it won't stick out. So I'm just putting it over as much as I want so that it's on the card itself like that. And that's that. Now you're going to want to adhere these sides together, but let me show you. This barely fits inside. Actually, this one doesn't even fit inside. It's a little too wide. which is okay. It's just going to stick out on the ends there. I probably cut it a little too narrowed in there. Actually, I think I cut this one too narrowed. This one looks pretty good, but you can't really tell, so it's really not that big of a deal. So I'm not going to worry about it. It's not enough for me to have to redo the card or anything, but it does look kind of silly with those sticking out, but I really don't think anybody's going to pay too much attention. So I'm just learn from my mistakes. And I'll have the dimensions in the description box, but when you're cutting it, make sure that you put the bottom end at the 1/2 inch mark and the score end on the cutting line. It looks like I may have messed this side up just a little bit, but whatever. So I'm going to open this up and put this card in here as though it were going to be resting in here. And you'll see that there's a little bit extra on either side of the card. That is where you're going to want to tape. And I'm just using this strong tear and tape because it's easy to control. I can get just a little piece and I can put a piece right here along the edge of the card. And then I can get another piece and do the same on the other side. Oh, it's on my finger. And I'm just going to be careful not to get it on the card, although I already did. So I'm just going to move that over just a little bit because I obviously didn't cut it quite right. And then I'm going to peel this side off since the other side is already peeled off. Then I'm going to close the card down. And then I'm going to put this inside. If you wanted to stamp a sentiment or something on here, you certainly could. You could put something along the side. You know, it's not a very big card, but it's got enough room. And then so you just push it all the way in, so it's like that. And then you're going to take your flowers, and again, you can adhere these however you want, but I am going to use glue or dimensionals, so I'm just going to put one dimensional on the back of each flower. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I feel like I'm going kind of fast, but this is an easy card. You guys will really be surprised at how easy this is. And then you want to kind of start, I mean, wherever you want, but I want to make sure that there's one that's kind of sticking over the edge. So I'm just putting this down enough so that the glue dot or the dimensional gets caught on the rim, but it doesn't go down past the rim. So I want it to be like on the card, but right at the rim. So when I pull this out, which is hard to do since I have it so big, here, I'll hold this. So when I pull it out, it gets stuck right where the card is at the bottom. So if I had it stuck here, the card would stop here. You know what I mean? And you kind of have to lift it up to get it in there because it would go inside. So once I have that one, then the other ones I just place around it, and I try to hide the card as much as possible so that you don't really see that there's a card there. And I kind of want to be able to see the middle piece since, you know, that's kind of a cool part. And that's pretty good. And, you know, different flowers you're going to work with differently. So just, you know, just be aware of your flower. That sounds funny, but you know what I mean. Because those flowers, like I could stick some of the petals in front of each other or in the back or whatever. And these, I can't really do that very well. I mean, I could do it a little bit maybe, but not a whole lot. And look what I'm finding now. Like I want this one to be about right there. And I put my glue dot on, but it's up here. And that's never going to hold. So I can move my glue dot down. Or not a glue dot, but dimensional. You just have to be careful when you're picking it off. And then I can stick this down in there like that. And I'm thinking I want this one. So you have a little bit of time that you can play with them. Not a lot, but you have a little bit. I want this one to be down just a little bit. Yeah, like that. So I could move them just a hair. And then here is our card. I wish I hadn't messed up the side, but it's all right. You guys know what I'm talking about. And now that I know that it's cut differently, I notice it, like that's the first thing I look at. The only thing I see. I'm like, oh, but I know that I didn't see it before, so I know that most people who didn't know wouldn't know. The only reason I knew was because the card didn't fit. But see on this one how the card just fits perfectly. And yeah, you can see that this card base is about 1/4 of an inch bigger, so I just screwed up when I was measuring. And it still sometimes will show if you, like, you could move it. So just be careful when you're putting it in. I mean, it's not a big deal. There's just not enough room to put adhesive on the sides of the vase or the pot to keep it so that you could still slide this in and out, because there's just enough room. And also, just so you know, like this card I only used 3 flowers because they're so much bigger, that's all that fit. And this card I was able to use 4. If you had smaller flowers, you might even be able to use 5 or more. So just know that yours may or may not be a little different from mine if you do it, but the dimensions of the flower pot work, and it's, you know, really cute. So there you go. That is how you make a flower pot. And I thought that I would put this out now because I think that these would be perfect for Mother's Day. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you guys try it, and I hope you like it. And until next week, have a wonderful day.